Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Sorry, I was choking on a. I just poured my bowl of Cheerios, and I found an entire Branzino at the bottom of the box. So it's really crazy. I'm feeling a little sick. So I hope I can make it through this podcast.
Okay, so an entire bone in Branzino.
Bone in Branzino, and it's strangely it's still hot, which it didn't affect the Cheerios, thank God. But I just wanted to let you know that did happen, and I just need that to be on the on the record here.
We don't want to litigate, or I don't want this to sully the good name of Honey Nut.
I would hate that, but the thought of this cross contamination in the plants these days is running rampant, and I want to shine some light. I want to signal boost the cause of cartoon loving former radio host and white rappers coming for big cereal.
It's about time we stopped signal boosting cause with a K and started signal boosting cause with a CAU, right?
Thank you, Jason. Finally, somebody sees my vision.
Who would have suspected this crazy turn of events for our dear friend Jensen Karp, who's going who was going to go from a child rap star who was discovered on Power 106, where he would freestyle in as a kid, grow to go on the radio, get married to Topanga from Boy Meets World, have a kid, become famous for finding 2 shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then gets canceled for being an abusive partner, all in the span of 24 hours.
All of that stuff I don't even care about. The books I was just checking an article in the cut about this where they break it down, and they've uncovered some SpawnCon from March 5th where Danielle Fishel Karp was talking about loving sponsored content for Coffee Mate, and they're like new flavor based on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So this is seeming nefarious to me. Topanga is on the World Wide Web getting paid to push a Coffee Mate creamer flavor based on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What do you think that means, Jason?
If it feels nefarious to you, is this a 6D chess game? Like what? Is this Act 2 where all hope is lost, and then we're going to come through, and it's going to be some big prank, and there's going to be this is a bigger thing? Is that what you're?
This feels like. Hold on, can we patch in Pizza Slime? I feel like somebody's in on this, and I just don't. I don't like it one bit. This marketing scheme. Somebody got paid $150,000 to come up with this. I feel.
Well, all of that checks out, and I would believe all of that up until the point where all of his ex-girlfriends are coming out and saying that he's a horrible abuser, and that part does not seem like it was constructed by a creative agency. I don't know if 72 and Sunny has the cojones to pull something like that off. And, if you got to put a head on a stake to really move something, is Jensen's head big enough for something like that?
I honestly, Jason, I don't know what the future holds. This guy, look. You're
not ready to play 6G chess is what it sounds like, Chris.
I'm not. I just hope his lapel pin business does not suffer. I don't know if you're familiar with Patty LaPel, his pop culture lapel pin business. If that suffers, then I know this was not something dreamed up by an ad agency.
Chris, I am more familiar with Patty LaPel than you'll ever know.
I unfortunately believe it. Unfortunately, I have taken pictures and cataloged all of these findings, and I will be getting in touch with General Mills as well. To Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that's a fat guy cereal. Cheerios, we're keeping it, we're slim. We Cheerios, a little bit of water, it goes down smooth.
Funny you say that. My life partner purchased a box of Honey Nut Cheerios just yesterday from our local Ralph's, and I had a spoonful of it this morning, just a cheeky spoonful, and it really was delicious. They mastered the perfect amount of sweetness on that cereal, I think. And when I was a kid, it did not seem sweet at all. Now that I'm an adult,
yeah,
it's just touching.
I love Cheerios, bro. I love Cheerios.
Shout out to our friends, Clearly Canadian, where that one ended up being a little bit sweeter than I remembered. But
wait, hold on. Are you saying that you're putting Clearly Canadian as a milk substitute?
No.
I'm sorry.
Never,
okay, it's two different things.
I would never.
Okay.
I would never.
You would only sip the Clearly raw.
Yeah. Well, I would actually only sip the Clearly when it's got a couple clinks full of Tito's in there. On its own raw dog. I had one on its own raw dog, but just more so in comparing childhood flavors to adult flavors, where something seemed so not sweet as a kid when your palate is fatigued, blown out by big candy and all the Kit Kats that we were sucking down. And now that we have a refined adult palate, eating macro bars and a banana as a treat.
Well, everything's too sweet. I agree, and I hate that flavor. Actually, you know what? I tried a new snack that was fucking delicious, Jason.
Shit. I mean, you are on record for being a snack whisperer.
I'm a snack whisperer. I can go in the aisle of any high-end grocer and pluck something obscure from the shelves and blow fucking minds. Hold on. I'm getting the bag. Give me 1 second.
Oh, shit. Peek behind the door. Yeah, actually, I was talking to somebody a day or two ago, and they were pulling a bunch of old, timeless quotes of ours through the years, and one of them was literally you talking about being a snack master and being able to walk down the aisle of any health food store and pull out gold every time, like a truffle sniffing.
You've seen it. You've seen it. Your stomach has been witness to the litness.
I have seen it. I have. Yeah. Have you tried those high end sweet potato crisps?
No, but
from Erewhon yet?
They're they're $20, right?
They're really, really expensive, but people seem to enjoy them and swear by them. But I don't understand what is good about them. The flavor can't be that great.
No, you're right. I mean, sweet potatoes aren't known for their flavor.
No, I love a sweet potato chip, but not one that looks like that.
No, it looks like I don't want one that looks like beef jerky.
Look like a motherfucking punishment. But sorry, go ahead.
So I pulled these off the shelf. They caught my eye at the Whole Foods, Santa Monica and Fairfax. Hawaiian style furry cake. Furikake. Furikake. Hawaiian style furikake puffs made with aloha. These are fucking delicious, Jason.
Really?
Yeah, organic Hawaiian style furikake puffs inspired by a favorite local snack. We gently coat puffed whole grains with a warm honey caramel, then sprinkle with furikake a blend of roasted seaweed, sesame seeds, and salt. The result is a crunchy, sweet, and savory snack that is pleasantly addictive. And let me say something, sweetie, it is addictive.
Man. Chris is on island time over there in West Hollywood is what it sounds like.
You already know the vibes.
Okay, that sounds a little off-brand for you, but I mean, that's a classic flavor if you hit the Asian market. As a kid back in the day, they had all those little like rice puff snackies,
yes.
And they're covered in like the furikake blend, the little seaweed and sesame seeds.
This is because we tried a snack that is been getting pushed at Whole Food end caps all over Los Angeles, which is like some sort of another puffed seed kind of thing. I think it's called lily puff
God damn it.
Or something.
Okay.
And they're also delicious, and they're much lighter than this. I mean, these are a little sweet for me, but they're good, and the texture's really nice.
It's a true treat.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had a few, obviously, but yeah, overall, I love it.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad that we were able to find a new snack for us when we have one of those, when we just have one of those days, you know what I mean?
No, I did. Yeah, Jason, I do. And
I had one of those days yesterday. I had to have an emergency martini. I was just like, oh,
Jesus Christ! At home?
I had well, I mean, I didn't have one at 3:00. It was at dinner. We made like a nice meal, nice roasted chicken with some vegetables, some kale and potatoes and all that shit.
Damn, you're really on your white guy swag, huh?
I was on my little white guy swag. But it was such a nice meal, and I was a little
right here.
I had to go. I was like kind of driving around running some errands that I didn't want to run, and I had not been used to like sitting in traffic coming back from the west side, sitting for an hour.
It ain't pretty.
It was a little bit of a trigger. It was just like, oh, I've worked too hard to not have to deal with this again. And I got home and I had to pour out the last of my Tito's and plop a couple blue cheese olives in. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything. It was probably 2.5 shots of Tito's in there. I didn't get not even a head change, and I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I was just dehydrated, and my body needed the.
That's why I'm gallon boys, Jason. I'm never dehydrated, as I'm sipping on a gallon right now.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm worried.
I had a call with someone. I was having a call with someone.
You got to stop bringing the gallon jug on these important business calls, Chris.
And I sipped the gallon, and he was like, Chris, that jug offends me.
Wow, did you have a meeting with yourself?
No, he said that jug is aesthetically not pleasing. I'm like, I know, but the other options are corny influencer water bottles with encouragements on drinking water. So what am I supposed to do?
Wow. Can you air out who this gallon hater was?
No, but it was really cool. The way he did it was I liked it because it was in a group of it was in a group.
Mm-hmm.
It was really well done. It was a good roast. It was in good spirits. It was in good spirits. Sure. It wasn't like a true burn.
It was a peaceful flame.
Yeah, exactly.
The world needs more of those. That's kind of, if you ask me, that's how we're going to change, turn this big old, it takes a lot of energy to turn one of those big old ships around stuck in the Suez right now. That's kind of what America is like right now, isn't it, brother?
Yeah, I thought the Suez was the muscle that I use my right on, that Joe Rogan suggests, but it's something else you're saying?
Yeah, there's a canal. There's a small canal in the Middle East, and a lot of, importing and exporting goes out of there, and apparently one of them kind of got stuck sideways. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And
Sitting sideways.
And I guess boats like that, they're big boys. Maybe the current's giving them trouble. I did not read up too much of it. One of the least interesting stories I could ever think of. The boat goes sideways, gets stuck.
Yeah, you can go ahead and stop now. The psoas muscle, on the other hand, is kind of hard to locate, but let me suggest the So-Right. It really releases the tension. That's an amazing product.
The So-Right.
Have you gotten an ad for it? It looks like it's just like a red piece of plastic with like two like points, and you lay on it like the psoas is like, it's like between it's like where your leg connects to your hip, your pelvis.
Oh, and okay, I'm back.
You lay on top of it, and this thing, I mean, it's white hot pain. It's incredible. And then you can also do it on your back, like a little bit above your ass, like where those muscles are. It's like, I think it's $50. It's incredible. The gym has it. The Easton where I'm going has it, and I couldn't recommend it more, Jason. My psoas is
quickly. Let's backpedal to it was a white hot pain. I loved it. So I want to get into maybe the psychology of that. We can wait until our guest comes on, Alex.
I think our guest, Alex Two-Tone, loves white hot pain. He sent me a video of him doing some pretty serious 50-pound kettlebell moves in his house.
They may have been heavier. I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that maybe he's not doing a intense workout on your level.
But he could definitely whip my ass.
Well, off top, easily whip your ass, easily whip my ass. But more, they just don't like build people like that no more. Where,
you're right.
You just drive them off the lot, and they're just already like, oh, how? That's what is that, a 100-pound kettlebell? All right, so I just swing it 3,000 times. Okay, now what? What do I do?
No, that's true. And this might be the first guest on this podcast that could whip my ass. What do you think?
Oh, that's actually a pretty interesting question. I mean, he can't be the first person that can whip your ass.
Who else?
There has to be another bruiser I mean, Brian Boy comes to mind.
Yeah, actually, Brian Boy could whip my ass. There's no question. No, that's absolutely a good point.
I don't know. Actually, this is okay. A listener out there, maybe we can do a little March Madness style bracket.
Yeah. I mean, also, don't get it twisted. I'm a pussy. Like, it doesn't take much. This is just an obvious one, I think. You know what I mean?
I don't think you need to really explain that to our listeners. I think
Thank
we
you.
all kind of
Okay,
understand.
thank you. They know. Okay, I just want to make sure it's clear.
I don't want to say the phrase, they know what time it is, but they kind of know what time it is. And just,
They know what time it is.
you know, they know us inside and out. And part of that is...
that's unfortunate because your insides are looking rough after all that milk. But let's have a...
days to live.
Let's go. Alex Two-Tone, you may know him from his very popular podcast with Maddie Matheson, former guest. They call it Powerful Truth Angels. He's also the co-founder of Born and Raised, your favorite West Side streetwear brand.
And also a legend in the graffiti game.
Legend Graph Head, which we can't wait to get into.
An LA OG. I'm sure, maybe he was hanging out in the 90s with Punky Brewster doing fucking knife hits with...
That's a good point. We need to find out his Brewster knowledge. Let's get him on right now, because I bet he has definitely smoked weed with Be Real. We need to ask him.
He was definitely wearing some Gat jeans at some point. And, he definitely had sex with one of those people in that documentary. And we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Let's talk to Alex Two-Tone right now, Jason. Bang his line.
Okay. Chris, didn't you send me a link that he has a headphone company called Raycon, and they're basically like a cheap AirPod, and they've only exclusively advertised on podcasts pretty much, and I think I read that he's sold 2.5 million pairs of them already. So like Ray J has made millions of dollars, whereas Soulja Boy and his Soulja watch, it's still on back order. They've had troubles at the warehouse from day one.
Raycon was a sponsor of ours, okay?
Okay, let's get into it.
I don't know if I can get into it.
Alex, cat got your tongue?
Cat's got my tongue. I mean, no, wait, hold on.
A man of few words.
No, it doesn't. What am I saying? Raycon wireless headphones are a fucking revelation. I put them on when I go hiking. I listen to my favorite playlist. I can't take them out of my ears. Sometimes I'm in the shower. I'm like, the fucking Raycons are still in my face. What's happening? I can't get enough of them. Thank you, Ray J. Also endorsed by Snoop Dogg, like Gloria Estefan, Melissa Etheridge, and a basketball player. No bullshit.
Melissa Etheridge.
Yes.
How did Ray J get Melissa Etheridge to endorse his headphones?
He's a legendary stick man amongst not unlike one of you guys on this podcast.
Hey, Alex, come on.
An epically proportioned stick man of epic proportions is what Ray J is.
Whoa.
How you like that?
Damn, he's got bars, Jason. He's coming in with bars this morning.
Okay, so you're letting me know that Ray J, much like another member of the podcast that you're on right now, is working with a monster, and he knows how to use it.
He knows how to use it. He undoubtedly schmangorillaed the fuck out of Melissa Etheridge. Had her hitting those high notes on the...
Undoubtedly.
What is she? She's a folk musician?
Yeah, I guess.
Known folk artist Melissa Etheridge.
Can I just paint a picture for you guys? Ray J pulling up to Lilith Fair in the fucking Bugatti, just like rolling down his windows.
Roll down the windows like Prince style.
Yes, and like the girls are always attracted to the bad boy opposite of what they are, and all these.
Ray J was at Lilith Fair. He gets one look at Melissa, and he's like, "I want her. I want her tonight."
I'm sorry to break it to you guys that Melissa Etheridge, unfortunately, is not into men. But are you saying that Ray J maybe could just break through? He's the one?
Are you saying that Ray J has never turned a freak, Chris?
You guys are current and contemporary enough to know that sex is a spectrum.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right. I'm sorry.
And Ray J can slide in wherever he wants. It doesn't really matter.
Chris, you got to understand, Ray J takes the pussy. He doesn't ask for it, okay?
Well,
I understand. I understand.
Look, Alex's words, not mine. I don't know what kind of podcast he runs.
No. See, I'm not allowed to say things like that on my podcast because Maddie has a Campbell Soup sponsorship that'll just implode the minute he says anything that's not like he has a team of people that prepare his every word so it's specifically woke and up to date. So if you say something like someone's out there taking pussy, yeah. Well, that's how you get the money.
What's going on with you, bro? Did you work out this morning? Did we just catch you fresh out of the shower? Like, what's going on?
Well, look, I really fucked this day up pretty good. And, I had to get in a little something before we did this, because if I don't do it, I'm going to end up the whole day thinking about doing it and then maybe never do it. Mm-hmm. And I feel better when I do it. And I like to do it before any time I get on a pod, because I just feel like more alert. And so the short answer is yes. I didn't know I had to set up the audio. I wasn't thinking straight. My producer didn't pick up the phone like he should have the minute I called him, and he should have shot over here and set me up, but he didn't. And I had
fuck you, Jason.
Fuck you in the ear, Jason. You long-toed son of a bitch.
So I think that having a nice workout, a nice shower, schwitz, and then you go right into the podcasting, it really does put you into a better headspace. It's kind of like when you have sex before the dinner dates, not afterwards.
Yes.
You get it out of the way.
Oh my God, man.
That's classic TJ advice. That's would go in his book. Is smash before dinner is a classic TJ.
It makes the most fucking sense. I mean, you work up, like you fuck, and then you get the appetite, and you have a wonderful meal. Instead, you have a wonderful meal. You come home, you have a belly full of dinner, and then she wants to fuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's stuff moving around inside me. Like there's a thing in me. I gotta, I can't operate with this backpack strapped to the front of my gut.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You gotta understand. I got 2.5 pounds of lasagna.
Yeah.
Swimming around in here, and it ain't gonna help either of us.
No, it's no good for anybody. Why can't we all kind of come to terms, like figure that? I think that. Women have been seduced by the film and restaurant industry into thinking that fucking happens after dinner, and it doesn't. After dinner is bedtime.
Big restaurant has fooled our community for too long, and that's what we're here to change.
Restaurants, guys, we can't attack restaurants right now with Two Tone. They've had a tough year. Let them continue their bamboozling of romance culture.
I'm not trying to attack them. I'm trying to help them.
Oh, I see.
This is a freebie.
Oh, you're giving them free advice. I understand. I get confused sometimes, Jason. Your tone is
I'm an
confusing.
F&B consultant.
Free jewels.
You are free jewels.
That's a free jewel, bro.
Yeah, that's a jam.
So. Alex, what did you do? Did you do a quick little kettlebell session?
Yeah, I did a little. I grabbed the Redondo Beach anchor, swung that fucker around a little bit.
I forgot about that. That was a pretty good joke, wasn't it?
That was actually pretty good. Stuck with me. I will have you know that in the middle of jumping rope this morning, I looked down. I have this really thick rubber jump rope. I looked down and it was split. And there was a nanosecond where I was like, oh, this is my psychic break, because jump ropes don't break mid-jump rope. Like, this thing's like, like inches thick. And it turned into 2 jump ropes. And I just was like, you know what I do? I'm like the Marines. I adapted. I chucked the jump rope, and I just started doing box jumps. You gotta keep it moving. You gotta keep the blood flowing.
Yeah, you're like, I got a podcast. I don't have time to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Are you doing this at home? Is this the home gym setup?
It's like I have one of those soft box things. I got kettlebells. I got some weights. I got a jump rope. I got some perfect push up. I got all this like bullshit home workout stuff, and I just cobbled together this like routine that I do. I just do a cycle, and I run through 6 sets of 10 of these each, and I do I do a kettlebell swing, squat, I do 100 jump ropes, lunges, step-ups, the ab thing, like one of those ab wheels, perfect push-ups, and I just run through that 6 times. That's an hour, and I'm just fucking done.
Have you always been a strong guy your whole life?
No.
No, because you look like you're one of those guys that from birth,
I
could sneak up behind you at any moment. Swing a folding chair across your back, WWF style, and you just turn around and smile. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Good description.
That definitely happened to me. But I didn't smile. No, I mean, I think that like I've always been bigger than. I think I've always been bigger than like
the average podcaster.
Yeah, bigger than the average. I think I've been bigger than like bigger than what my brain isn't aware of how big I am. I'm much bigger than I think I am. And I've always had a certain level of strength comes with that. But, I mean, I wouldn't say I've been strong my whole life. There was definitely a point in my life when I was like a scrawny little kid. And then all through the years, I've been working out, and like I'll work out, and then I'll get really fat, and then I'll get unfat, and then I'll work out. So like it sticks with you. I'm pretty fucking strong. It just reminds me, Jason is such, I keep thinking of moments I've run into Jason in LA. Jason is such a dark, he's the dark, long night, this guy. He's just like, He's just such a dark. I remember I ran into him at a club way back in the day. One of the somewhere near like I'm thinking like the Star Shoes days. You know, was that the name of that spot?
Oh shit!
So we're taking it back to the 99 and the 2000 right now.
We're going back, and you were there, and I pulled up, and I saw you, and I was like, I think it might have been the first time I met you, and I said, and I'm just rolling around being a smart ass, and I look up at you, and I'm like, hey, you're a tall fucker, aren't you? And you looked at me, and you go, yeah, you're not so small yourself, are you? And I was like, oh, like he just and I was very impressed. With like he just and he looks down at you and he's always in half darkness. There's always like one shadow on his face.
There's a shadow. That's true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
He's the.
I didn't even think of that.
I like that. I like that my looming presence has stuck with you through the years of Hollywood club life.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to miss. That's your thing. You're that guy.
I was R.I.P. to the club.
I'm just happy to be on this podcast with two, LA legends. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in an LA legend sandwich.
Legends
and I'm
of the
happy
graph
to be...
game, the club game. The list goes on.
Exactly. The dark arts.
The dark arts.
Two dark arts specialists. Art specialists.
When I was in the height of the club, and I for some reason I befriended Jason Revoke.
Oh yeah.
And, the
young
graffiti version of me was like, holy shit, like Revoke wants to hang out with me because he's like, at the time he was like the LeBron James, Michael Jordan of the graph game, and he would hit me up, and when the club I was doing was the hottest club in town, he'd be like, hey them jeans, can we come through?
Yeah.
And, I'll come through, I'll bring, Zest and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be sick.
Yeah.
But then
I'll bring these 40 dudes.
Yeah.
He'd bring these little KOG fucking tag bangers who would try to fight me, and they'd be like, no, that's the homie, them jeans.
No, that's the homie. Hey,
that's the homie. Jeans. And I'd be like, I can't be having these guys trying to fucking stab, shank me in. I have a set in 10 minutes, you know what I mean? But,
yeah.
But we worked it out. There were a couple fights that happened that, it was inevitable. Nobody died, so it was okay.
I remember there was that big AWR MSK club infiltration. You started seeing them on the blogs. I'm like, what's Revoke doing on Cobra Snake? Like, what's happening?
Bro, that's my fault.
Right.
Blame Big TJ. Blame Big TJ for the infiltration.
Do you guys need another bottle? that was my little ass.
Do you guys need another bottle? Hey, check out this piece I did in '97. They're like, get the fuck out of here. There are moments when being a graffiti writer offers you a weird kind of celebrity,
like Alec Monopoly.
Yes, I mean, come on. You want to talk about, I don't know. You want to talk about real graffiti or like real art or like actually high art, fine art, conceptual. I mean, the man is. I don't know. There's not enough.
Which
words.
one of us hates Alec Monopoly the most? What do you think?
I have a friend who has. He drives around for about a year and a half. He drove around in his car with a pair of weighted black leather gloves, not lying, and a fucking rope. And he was like, the minute I see him, there is no, I don't care who's there. He was so incensed. And my answer was like,
well, he planned to kidnap him.
He was definitely bare minimum going to beat him. He never met the man. He never met the man. He was going to beat him, and possibly his thing was
bare minimum.
Baseline, a beating. And
yes.
He was possibly going to have some sort of kidnap scenario and try to get some money out of it. That's what
extortion.
Yeah, something.
But do we think what is his background? Like, where does he come from? Does he really have bread? Like, what is the story on Monopoly?
He's a rich kid, family. This is how this hustle works. As soon as Shepard Fairey did what he did, art became so accessible that everyone was like, all the jocks were just like, oh shit, we can do this shit. You just take a thing and you put another thing on top of that and you put some pink on it and you're good. So like, and art became too accessible. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. Everyone's supposed to love art. Art became so accessible that everyone started making art. And then it became a thing that people did like when I was a kid, I would go to like Chinatown and watch see my friends' art shows from CalArts, and like it was this really weird, dirty, creepy scene that was fucking amazing. And you see all this amazing stuff, and this performance art, and it's just like this kind of beautiful thing that wasn't really like mainstream. And it became very mainstream. And a guy like Alec Monopoly, from what I can gather, I don't know, but from what I've seen and from the lurking I've done, he comes from a rich family. He does these horrifying paintings, and then his family members sell them to their friends, and then the market goes up on what his shit is. But he's already got the money. Like part of his art is like going to paint a wall with a Gucci backpack and like a highly modified like 26-year-old girl, right? Like, and he parades the girl around as like she's holding his cans, and he's got like probably a Louis Vuitton backpack. And he's pulling the cans out and spray. I mean, it's like
it couldn't be further from art,
right? And if he turned around one day and like was like I'm Banksy or like or he was like it was like the longest Nathan For You skit ever, I would bow down and be like, you're amazing, because it's mind-boggling.
Alex, do you spend a lot of time on TikTok? You a TikToker?
Let's just be honest. You guys are cultural elite, coastal snobs. Everything's very art directed. I live in the slums. I'm in the dirtiest parts of the internet. I'm fucking, I'm looking at like Dominican World Star, just like I look at my feed and there's just like pages of just butts. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? What's happening?
Yeah. So you're okay.
Yeah.
You're more on the lowbrow side of things.
I run a little lowbrow.
The Two-Tone Explore page is not for the faint of heart.
No, you don't want to be on there.
I think the duality and the juxtaposition between that brow and a higher brow together, that you can help each other, balance each other out, contrast each other. It's nice because a lot of people. I like to be a hybrid. I like to be Rodeo Drive, hanging out, buying small leather goods from the Celine store. But I also, want to fight a guy at a tire shop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to get arrested for public urination, stuff like that.
You guys can have that. I don't even want to know how to change a tire. I don't ever want to go. I want somebody to do everything for me.
Chris,
I'm just not cut from the same cloth as you two.
Some people like a man who's got a little dirt under their nails, Chris. That's all we're saying.
Chris wants to be a little piece of veal, but Jason's out here habitually shoplifting from fucking Whole Foods and Erewhon.
If Jason gets taken down, Two-Tone, I just wanted to let you know now, I'm going to call you to fill in. If Jason goes to jail, you're my go-to co-host.
Right. I wish fucking 12 would try to throw a case on me. Let them motherfucking try it.
Let them try it.
Yeah, I would love to see the Burbank Police Department pull up on you and be like, sir, take the banana out of your pocket. Like, we're not doing this today. You're not coming with us.
It's going to end with a couple autographs, a couple T-shirts for the kids, and we're on our way.
Or it's like, News at 11, man dies over gluten-free brownie. The Valley area man dies for a pistachio loaf.
Gluten-free brownie is a tough way. Gluten-free brownie, a tough way to go.
I was taken from this world too soon, but doing what I love.
That's true.
I was going to say, Alex, I've listened to your pod a bunch. We did your show a couple months ago, and Maddie came and did our show a couple months ago. And now we're completing the circle. But one thing I've noticed after listening to you over time, you almost have an identical voice to EDM star DJ Diplo. Has anyone ever told you that before?
I've never heard that in my life.
He talks in such a specific little way, and you're the only other motherfucker I've noticed who has that same. And it's almost, I can't even explain what it's like, but if you've talked to him or hung out with him long enough, he has like a very specific style of talking, and you have it as well. And that leads me to believe, I don't know what that, I think maybe your pimp hand is stronger than I realized.
I mean, at this point in my pimp hand's been retired. It's on the mantle. But let me give you a little fun fact about Diplo. I shot a music video for Diplo. No. Let me rephrase that. I shot a music video for Iggy Azalea featuring Diplo, and Diplo did the pickups in this kitchen. This was a long time ago when Diplo lived in Los Feliz, and like this is before Diplo. This is a very long. This is like 10 years ago, and this is before Diplo became like, because Diplo was just kind of like a known DJ who was doing something progressive.
He was big at the time, but he wasn't like household name big.
No. He wasn't like this. And he was Diplo was kind of like at the forefront of the mashup game, right? He was like He was early on that shit. And the first guy to Bushwick Bill over Stevie Nicks, and kind of that's how you get your fucking paper. But
Thank God for that. Thank God
God that
somebody did that.
And Alex, I'm the second guy to do it.
he's number 2. Okay.
What was your what was your relationship with Iggy Azalea?
I was making music videos, right?
I didn't. First of all, I didn't know that. I didn't know this chapter in your long sordid history.
Yeah. I was before I did Born and Raised. I still do. I still direct. I do commercials, and I make all the Born and Raised, most of the Born and Raised content. So now some kids are doing some other stuff. But Iggy Azalea, I saw her on the internet, and she had this song. It was called Pussy, and I was like, I saw it, and I was like, damn, this is wild. And I wrote her an email. She was independent, and I said, listen, here's what I think you are. Here's what I think you're going to become. Let's do something. And then we connected.
Let's build, Familia.
Let's build. And I did, and I shot 4 videos for her. And right at the kind of, it was right at the cusp of her becoming this monstrous figure.
This is before Tip was involved.
Yeah, no. I shot one with her and Tip. There's one I did called.
No, Tip. I think Tip was involved from Jump.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. No, I shot one with her and Tip, called Murder Business, and I did a
I'm familiar with the cut, Alex. I'm familiar with the cut.
Murder.
Well, if you're
Iggy Azalea having a song called "Murder Business" is making me chuckle.
This is going to really make you chuckle. This is what I pitched them for the video. The video for Murder Business was basically about JonBenet Ramsey and a child beauty pageant. And if you watch the video, it's just like a kid's beauty pageant, and she's talking about the murder business. And there's a JonBenet Ramsey, and I'm like, you guys signed off on this, and we did it. Which, hindsight, I don't know. Maybe
some things age better than others.
The real question is, though, if you bang Azalea's line right now, is she responding?
Hell no, she's not picking. What are you kidding me? She's not picking. She picked up a. Come on, man. But I'll tell you one thing. It's like a weird thing. Like, you're so big that you can't even stop being big, and you're just big for being big.
Yes, yeah, no, totally. Let's walk down music video lane a little bit here. I love this era.
It's not impressive.
Can be worse than my extra reel.
Yeah, we've gone through Jason's extra reel 100 times. So if you have any highlights you'd want to talk about right now, maybe. So if there's agents listening, anyone from CAA, William Morris, et cetera.
In case they're just like ripping through the mailroom on 5-hour energy drink, just banging this podcast in their AirPods.
Exactly.
LaChapelle listens a lot, guys like that.
Guys like that. Guys of that caliber. I've done some stuff I'm proud of. I did a Liars video I really like. I did.
I like Liars.
Very cool.
Yeah,
What about Liars?
Yeah, I figured that would strike a chord with you boys. I did a.
We're not going to stand. We're not going to stand
feels like an insult.
Yeah, we're not going to stand for racism on this podcast. Okay,
It wasn't
today.
It wasn't racism. It was coastal elitism. Listen, I see what you're doing. You got Yimi Yayo as your art director.
That's right.
You guys are you guys are podcasting 14 times a week. Like, you're making moves. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware. I see what's happening.
Thank you, Alex.
I understand the brand. So yeah, no, I did a couple Danny Brown things early, but then I kind of I had this idea that I was going to be this, like, I was going to build this production company, and I was very naive, and I had this money from another company, and I started putting it all into making films, and I was like, I'm going to build a production company. It's going to be called What You Steal, and I'm just going to become this like independent blah blah blah, and like a few years go by, and I'm like, I'm completely crushed by this. Like, I just didn't understand the business, because I've always naively jumped into things and been able to succeed just on stubbornness. Like, by getting up every day and trying to do it, like, I somehow make things happen. This time it didn't work. So I was directing a bunch of stuff, and then Born and Raised started, and I started doing the Born and Raised content, and then it's really slowed down dramatically on music videos. But music videos are also very, very hard, very thankless. I didn't make $1 on any of them. Like, I just didn't.
Yeah, that's the problem. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue. But the idea is that gets you the commercials that pay a lot of money. It's the classic chicken before the egg situation,
Yep.
One for you, one for them.
One for you, one for them.
Commercial.
Yep. That's what it is. Yeah.
I think you were built for the garment trade. You seem like the kind of guy that loves to be, just down at the factory checking on stuff. Am I wrong?
No, I hate you for saying that, really. I don't.
Maybe, do you like hitting the trade shows in Vegas?
Fucking
You know what I'm
oh
saying?
You're a
God.
big trade show guy.
Oh,
Trade show guy?
God. No.
You know that I've seen you in the club at a fucking creative recreation party. Don't even front.
Oh my
How many
God.
times have you seen Cameron at the Hard Rock?
It's like a repeating loop in my head of how many, like, it's ridiculous. There's nothing you can show me. Like, I was going to trade shows at 16, like going to ASR and being like, this is amazing at 16 years old. And then,
Wow.
and then mid-20s, I'm like, oh my God, somebody shoot me. Like, I did it for other people. I did it for myself. Thank God trade shows. Like, when I started Born and Raised with Sponta, I said, listen, I got a couple rules. One is I'm never doing a fucking trade show. I don't care what. I don't care where it is. I'm never going. Like, it was the most horrible.
Smart rule to have.
Ugh, I hate trade shows. It's just such a nightmare.
What brand were you working with when you were at 16?
I mean, I wasn't working with anything. I was basically going to hang out and like get free shit. And I think we were like
Tagging
along, emphasis on tagging. And we were like hanging out with Gypsies and Thieves. You remember those guys? Green Apple Tree?
Gat Jeans?
Oh,
jeans.
wow.
A 16-year-old Alex
Yeah.
running around Vegas. You're drunk, maybe doing a little cocaine,
Maybe.
catching some tags. You got your Gat Jeans on. How
Yep.
wide were these legs?
Oh man, there is no measurement for how wide they are. Quantum physics wide, like black hole
Yeah.
wide. You know.
How weird is it to see those back in style now?
I mean, I've realized pretty early on that everything is cyclical. Like I'm waiting for the. I think it's happening actually right now. Is like the crazy, overly distressed affliction era thing is starting to creep back in a weird
Oh
way.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Unironically though.
Yeah, there's a running brand
Unironically.
that I actually really don't like called Satisfy that like it's like moth holes and bleach, but it's like for exercise. It's very confusing. But yes, I mean
Yeah.
it's the cousin of affliction. You know what I mean? It's down the street, you know.
Yeah, that stuff nothing. Listen, man, it's all matter is. There's only one thing that's ever been made. It's just been redistributed a million times. You know, like
Yeah, let's get that third eye open.
I was about to get really fucking deep and scientific and tell you guys about matter, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's a
Tell you
nothing.
boys
Nothing
about
changes.
something called matter.
Yeah, there's something
No,
called
I
matter.
agree.
No, nothing-
I agree. But even though you know that, even though you know everything is cyclical, it is still sometimes crazy to be like, wow, these little, 19-year-old kids are on Depop and they're selling Gat jeans or some wide leg Jinko, Raver jeans, and they're like, this is a vintage piece from 1999, and they're like,
You're like,
hundreds of dollars, and these sought after collector's items. It's a different, that's our bell bottoms,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Vintage. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, and I remember when kids were dressing like it was the 70s. When I was a kid, that was a thing when I was in high school, and like people were going after the 70s, 60s, 70s look, and everyone, and my dad would see it and say like, well, we already did that. What are you guys doing? Mm-hmm. And every kid rediscovers something and thinks that they made it up. That's what kids do, and they put another twist on it and just keeps evolving and keeps evolving. But it's also what's cool about it too is that at the same time that that's happening, though, we're also getting satisfied with all the most fucked up futuristic shit that like you didn't think. Like the stuff that you'd see like in a Wesley Snipes movie, like futuristic sneakers.
Talking about Blade?
No, not Blade, but the one where he's like a time cop and the thing pops out of the ground and does graffiti. I think Van Damme might be in it. But anyways, I'm talking about like
Talking about Time Cop?
something like that. One of those things. A blonde Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Those kind of outfits are coming to fruition. Like, look at the state of like sneakers and shit. It's fucking bizarre, which is tight. It's all happening.
Nike went too far with the shoes that you don't have to tie. They just you step in. That's too far. That's where I draw the
I want to
line.
try those out though. I'd like to see.
They don't
I'd like
come
to
in your
just see how it
size, bro.
feels.
What are they?
I know.
What are they?
That's why I said I'd like to.
Mag boots? Is that what they're called?
No, it's like a consumer, like those came out and that was like some Kid Cudi dork shit, and now they have this like $200. It's like cheap. It's like not expensive.
Oh,
but the
yeah,
technology
yeah.
is probably similar.
It like snaps.
folds together. Yeah. It's like my Lambo doors. You know what I'm saying? It just they butterfly.
So, Chris, can I ask you some questions because I know a lot about Jason just peripherally, just by seeing him. I feel like if I look in the right direction, I will see him somewhere walking around Silver Lake. Right? Am I wrong?
That's right.
That's
Somehow.
true.
So, Chris, you are what the fuck, man? What's going on?
I mean, what do you mean?
How did you arrive?
Well,
Bro,
you
I just
I have specific questions. You do done to death projects, right?
that's right.
Okay, so that's something that I've been aware of forever. There's like a pyramid, and it's just been something that's been in my, I think even from like blog days, it's just been there.
Yeah, for sure.
I never did the diligence. It's just like, I'm like, that's cool and interesting. I'll just add this to a bunch of other things that I'm like aware of, right? But I never really like dug into it. And I was like, this guy's doing something and he's involved with fashion or what. I never really did the fucking math, right? So I want to know, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I mean, it is, a name I got when I was 20 and I created an LLC and I used to be in the music business and then I started I just work with brands. I'm a consultant with mostly fashion brands. Some direct to consumer stuff now as well, like some product facing stuff. But, yeah, like a little bit of everything from like, strategy and communications to like, collaborations, like go to market shit. It's pretty, I mean, you know what it is, but, yeah, that's it really. I wish it was cooler than that.
Well, no. I think you're a consult. I think consulting is very cool.
That's literally the coolest job to have. Your job is you get paid to tell brands what is cool. It doesn't get better than that. You don't really have to do hard work. You just have it in you already.
It's taken years to develop the business. I mean, it's probably in the last 2 or 3 years gotten good.
What is that quote? You're not paying me for the 10 minutes of work. You're paying me for the 10 years of experience.
100%.
Exactly,
Chris.
Jason. Exactly. But I mean,
and that's fucking baller.
That's it. I wish there was more to it, but that's really it. And
he's also sober. I'm
sober.
Is addicted to working out. He's a very clean eater.
Chris, are you an AA guy?
He hates everything.
No, I'm not. I've been sober for like more than 4 years now.
What was your poison? What took you over the edge?
OxyContin and muscle relaxers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Together, they're more powerful together, which you may or may not know. I don't know.
I'm aware.
Alex, you ever dance with the devil?
Have I danced with the devil? Yeah. Yes. Me and the Devil 69 hardcore. Stand up 69 with the devil.
You did a standing 69 with the devil. Okay.
How do you feel? I mean, is it at this point, is it just an easy kind of part of your life that you still have to work on, or is it like a constant struggle?
No, man. Like, look, being not getting high is nothing. That's just like, once you deal with like, because when you have an addiction to something and you eliminate the addiction, it seems like the biggest thing in the world is trying to not do that thing. And then once you stop doing that thing, you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's not OxyContin or Coke. It's me. I'm the fucking problem. Like, I'm the asshole here.
Yeah, 100%. Yes,
100%.
We're still waiting for Chris to get to that stage.
You're ready for that?
We're getting close.
The great realization.
That is absolutely true. But have you funneled it into something? I've definitely funneled it into exercise 100%,
yes.
Which I know is a common, I don't know if you're like a big candy guy or you've maybe funneled it somewhere else, but what
candy's a hot one.
What is your new poison that you have chosen to fill your time?
Your anti-drug. Yeah, mine is my philanthropic efforts.
Yeah, his shoplifting. Jason, you're not
exactly.
sober, right?
No. I'm gone off of an edible as we speak, Chief.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Thank God.
We're a mixed podcast.
So what was your poison, Alex?
What was my thing?
What put you one step closer to the edge? I'm about to break.
I mean, to be honest, the thing, smoking crack is where I once I started doing that, I was like, oh shit, like the lights are off, the party's over, and now I'm on like a bullet train that I can't get off of, and it's just going, a million miles an hour. I'm like,
so you were just doing, it was the classic like Coke just isn't enough anymore, and I have to smoke crack because that's the next logical step.
I've been sober. I've put together like, I don't know.
This ain't your first run?
No, I've had 20 years of sobriety.
Oh, wow. Okay, so on and off.
Yeah, like I did like 3 years, and I was like, oh, then I did 12 years, and I stuck my head out the window, and then fucking now I'm here for like 5. So. Yeah, as a kid, like, I did all the things, and then I remember 2 things happened. One is like in Venice, there's a big crack neighborhood, and also the DARE program told us not to do crack. They said, don't do this, and of course we were like, we got to try this shit. And then you try it, and you're like, oh, this is no joke. Like, it's like you.
I get crack.
Yeah, I get it. All right, I understand. This shit's it's pretty tight. Now it's like I have to do a series of things on a daily basis if I want to have a good experience on this planet, and that's kind of like, I got to do my shit. I got to work out. I got to meditate. I got to fucking, it's constant. I have a shrink. It's like it takes a fucking village to raise an asshole. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that's my lot in life at this point. But so yeah, listen, the consulting, Chris, you're being very self-effacing and be like, oh, I'm just a consultant. But I know that you guys are bringing in the big checks. I respect the job of a consultant because I love coming into something from the outside and being like, oh, you need to fix this. This goes there. Change that to purple. And also you guys need some content. Like it's an applied skill. It's a miraculous science. And it's a way to fucking fortify your bank account.
A big part of it is having not necessarily the balls or whatever, but the confidence or the chutzpah tell, walk into a brand's office and tell them these things. And not everyone has that to be able, to be a straight shooter, and Chris does have that.
In some cases, I think with certain places, just being someone that doesn't work there is like half the battle. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not involved in your internal politics. I don't care what happened yesterday at this meeting or what happened 2 years ago or who's a new hire or whatever. It's more of like an approach where it's like, well, there's good and there's bad, and needs to be like this, and this is the way this is going to work better, and that kind of stuff. But I do think, I'm not trying to diminish it. I just think it's like
you ain't curing cancer.
Yeah, it's like the new creative director. It's like a joke. Like people just think you're like basically you don't have a job, which I also make it seem like that on purpose because it's funny. But I do work every day, all day. As soon as I crack my eyes, Jason knows I'm on my Grizzly.
On your Grizzly.
He's about as grown man BI.
I mean, creative directors are like that was the biggest scourge a couple years ago of my entire fucking life. Like I would just like get on a shoot do a video, and then the artist would bring their creative director, and their job was just basically to halt anything I did, to question it, and to sow dissent and to create fear. That's all these creative directors ever did. I think there's probably like 5 really good ones, and there's probably like 10 really good consultants. And I think everyone else is just like some fucking sort of venomous demon who's just there to like destroy things.
Creative direct. I mean, these things come and go. You know what I mean? Like title wise, I think it's like I know people that are incredible at it. And it's insane, and but I also think there's the kind of creative directors that get a job somewhere, and they, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a creative director at XYZ brand, and it's like you don't really have to do shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's a little easier.
I'm the creative director of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah, something simple.
That's a good gig.
But
let's put some toast on the box. Call it a day. Who's playing golf?
I mean, but I never. Can you use computers? Like, do you know how to use Photoshop and stuff?
You're one of those guys.
He's more of an iPad kind of cat.
Can you use computers? What are you doing? You got an X-Acto knife and you're cutting apart old newspapers and collaging.
No, I'm saying like, I don't mean it literally. I just mean that, for example, I could never be a creative director because I don't know how to use Photoshop. I don't know how to use Illustrator. I don't know how to use InDesign. I never learned any of that stuff.
Alex, are you hiring these people, or are you in the Adobe trenches yourself?
I'm in the fields. I'm out here fucking just banging away at this thing. Like it's a second language to me, Illustrator and Photoshop at this point. And I also know that I know Illustrator and Photoshop, but I also know that I probably know about 12%. And that's exaggerating. Like the things that it can do are mind-boggling, but I have a certain set of things that I do. It's like take the image, Photoshop it, put the type, blah 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 blah, and it's like Yeah, I do know those programs, and it's funny because I run across guys like I was talking to Callie about something, and he's like, yeah, I don't
Callie DeWitt.
Callie DeWitt. I was talking to Callie DeWitt, and he's like, yeah, I don't use Photoshop. I'm like, oh yeah, you're one of those guys. Like there's people, and that dude's like he's one of those fucking people, right? He's a consultant, creative guy. He's got 20 things going on, and he doesn't open up Photoshop. Because he's like, it's all in here, baby.
Just tells an intern what to do, and they do it, and he gives them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Yeah, I mean,
something like that.
I've always been envious of that, but I've also never been able to do that. I'm the one who for me, my brain was always like, it's going to be easier and faster to do it myself versus taking the time to explain it to somebody, receive it, go back with edits. They go in that amount of time. I could have done it myself and been done with it, but hard to scale that way.
It's C-suite swag on this side, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're delegating. We're delegating. And that's how it gets done. But there are people that are just so good at things. I mean, but Jason, you're pretty good. Like at this point, you're good, and I think that you are pretty quick with it. I just am surrounded by people who are just so good at it that it's like, why would I even attempt this at this point?
Yeah.
You know,
I think
at 38 years old.
No, you don't want to learn now. You don't want to learn now. The curve, you missed the fucking curve. Like I think there's people that are so good at not using it that they see things differently. Like analog is much more like I take things and make them look analog, whereas like people that don't use the programs, they build analog, right? And it has a different look. You can just tell by looking at any design that they're thinking analog, which is like in vogue right now. This is how I learned Photoshop and Illustrator. I bullshitted my way into a job, okay? You'll like this, Jason. I just was like at a point in my life where I was like, I need a fucking job. I'd fucked around for so much in my 20s. I need a job. And I around the clothing industry peripherally, and I reached out to a guy who was a rep, and he put me in touch with this company in Orange County. Right, I'm living in Venice. A company in Orange County. It's called How Denim. You know that one, Jason?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard it.
Yeah. So I go there, and and I'm just like, at this point in my life, I'm so desperate to have something resembling normalcy and structure because my life has just been so chaotic, and I was like, Like the dream was to have a fucking job and a paycheck and like maybe some benefits, right?
Get a little, maybe a little health care.
Yeah.
The direct deposit hits on the 1st and the 15th.
Yes. To me, that was a win. Yeah. Even before then, my dream was to be a construction worker or a plumber. Because like those guys were like always had money. They were always like, buying Coke. They were always having the most fun. And I was like, I want to be one of those guys. I was like, I want to...
Damn, plumber Coke hits different.
It does hit different. Listen, Venice plumber Coke in the 90s is no joke. It's no fucking joke. Fish scale, baby.
That'll unclog those pipes. You know what I'm saying, brother?
That's right. So I get plugged up with this guy. I go have an interview with him. I sell, I don't really have shit. I have like a graffiti background. I got a good mouthpiece, and I talk a lot of game, and I talk myself into an art director position, and I barely know Photoshop and Illustrator. I barely know the programs, and I just talk my way into it. And I'm fucking more than happy to drive to Orange County because I'm so happy to get out of like Venice and to have a job where I'm like, it's doing something like it really wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be at How Denim. Like it wasn't really my sensibility, but I was like, I got this job, and I sat next to this guy. It was the first time I met an emo kid. I'd never even seen an emo guy. I didn't know what it was. And he came in. I'm like, oh, this
not a ton of those in Venice.
Not a fucking one. Never. It's like a rare spotted owl. Like you just never seen one. And I see this kid. Shout out to Keith Moon. And Keith's just got he's got black fingernails. He's got makeup. His hair is he's got the black dyed Karen haircut with like with the cowlick in the front, And I see him and I'm like,
flat iron is out.
Yep, he's flat ironed to fucking death. And I see it and I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, this is so interesting. Like they got a gay guy in the art department. It's like so progressive. This is the 90s, a different late 90s, maybe early aughts. A different time, guys. And I assumed that he was gay, and I was like, cool.
Now I've seen everything.
Yeah, now I've seen everything. So, we're sitting talking. He doesn't want to talk. He's very quiet. He's just like one-word answers. He's just very like in his zone. And I sat with him, and like him and I were the art department. And, and then like, 3 weeks in, I heard him mention his girlfriend. I'm like, your girlfriend? What are you talking about? And because I didn't know what emo was. I had no fucking context. So, but sitting with that guy for, a couple months is how I learned Photoshop and Illustrator, just asking him shit. Oh. And to this day, the only way I've ever learned anything is just by like immersing myself in it on some level. I could never, I would take classes. This shit just falls right out of my head. The only way I can do anything is I just got to do it. And that's the only way I've figured out anything out. So shout out to Keith Moon, my first emo, who taught me how to do Illustrator and Photoshop. And
we all remember our first emo, don't we?
Yeah, yep. We all remember.
What does he do? What is Keith Moon doing today?
Keith Moon? Okay, I'll tell you what he's doing today. Keith Moon works at FX. He's an art director at FX.
Okay.
And he recently hit me and he goes, "Yo." He hit me and he goes, "Do you want to do some graphic layout for Snowfall?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, I do. I love Snowfall." So I take my weekend and I build this whole deck and I send it in. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, they want gang graffiti. They wanted a mixture of gang graffiti and like Basquiat references. I go, dude, this is in the fucking can. Like, I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting this job. I build this thing out. I take 3 days to build out this huge deck. I send it in. They say no. Okay. And I'm shocked. I'm like, well, how'd this happen? So there's a $500 kill fee. And in order to get this $500 kill fee, you have to integrate with the back-end Disney portal, which is the most dude.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth
Bro,
it. It ain't worth
I spent more time trying to fucking, you have to basically learn Linux. And like you have to go to like a community college to get a fucking invoice processed. I was so angry, and that anger made me try harder. And I still haven't gotten that fucking check because I know, and like who cares about the $500 at this point? But now I'm like, now talking to you guys about
determined.
it, I'm gonna go back and get it. I'm gonna get that fucking kill fee and spend it on poker. Like fuck.
No,
them.
you got to get it.
I got to get it. Anyways,
gotta
that's
get it.
We've actually experienced portal problems ourselves. So, anyone who's ever had to do freelance work for a corporate world,
fuck.
definitely can relate
Yeah,
to
get
those
ready
fucking
for that.
problems.
On Spotify you can listen to your favorite artist, but getting a check from them takes a week and a half and a college degree, like you said. So I understand. I just dealt with this recently with someone else. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, you're interfacing with those music companies, and their portals are the same. They're fucking nuts.
It seems so unnecessary, but it will never change. Is my guess. But I think that immersing yourself is interesting because I think that like. Now, because of what's available on YouTube, that just isn't happening in the same way. I think people can truly get like college level educations on YouTube for free.
Absolutely.
It's too appealing. It's the easiest way to do it. It's free. It's at home. It's time wise. It's whenever you can do it. So it's a new dawn is my point.
Yeah.
I tell my girlfriend that all the time where she'll ask me a question. I don't know the answer. I'm like, just, Google it. There's someone somewhere on YouTube who has made a video about this exact problem that you have. I don't care what it is.
Yep.
There's a reason, and like I have a digital camera, a Ricoh GR2, smash the LCD screen, and I'm like, oh, well, it'll cost me $400 to get it repaired. The camera was probably $400, or I'll buy an LCD screen on eBay for $20, and then I type in how to fix it on YouTube, and there's a video of a guy. It's like shows you step by step how to do it, and I'm doing some some pretty intense electronic work, and it's all there, easy, no problem.
Working class TJ, did you do it?
I'm on the back nine. I have it all opened up. I got all the parts laid out, and then the screen just arrived in the mail yesterday, so I'm going to pop that V8 into the old Bel Air and see if I can get it to turn over today.
I already know on what side of the fence Chris sits on this because it's on my side, which is like, and I'm just going to speak for you, Chris. We're not fucking with aftermarket LCD screens and trying to put them, like, I'm terrified that once I take this camera apart or whatever it is, it'll never go back together and it's not going to work and I'll have destroyed it. I'm so worried because, like, I would talk to guys who are like, yeah, you fix your iPhone screen, you buy a screen. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'll pay the extra $200 to preserve and make it someone else's fault. Whereas you're one of those fucking creepy dudes who's out there fucking reconfiguring shit.
Yeah, I am a creepy reconfigurer. That's true. But also, I had this camera. I probably bought it on eBay for $400, and literally it will cost the same amount of money to fix it. So at that point, I will just buy a new one anyway. So, if I attempt this and it doesn't work, then I will get the pleasure of, throwing it off the fucking 5 freeway bridge, and it'll be a cool looking thing, and I can move on and just buy a new camera, whatever.
Jason, are you as thrifty as you are tall?
Oh yeah. TJ's
I'm not super thrifty, but it has to be a good value. I am offended by things that are not of value.
That's a cheap man speaking. He said the word good value. Yeah, any man
he's
that
dealing with I'm not cheap to a fault, I would say. That is it probably works against me.
Yeah, but you have the guilt attached to it, Chris. I don't have any. I'm living guilt free. Chris was complaining that he bought this $500 Louis pouch to keep all of his stuff in, a man clutch, if you will.
Yes.
And he said as soon as he swiped his Apple Card, instant wave of guilt rushed over him for whatever reason. But that would never happen to me.
First of all, it was an American Express Platinum card. First of all, I would never use an Apple Card. Second of all, I do feel that guilt, but this beautiful Louis Vuitton classic pouch will get passed down to generations of blacks.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you felt, Chris.
Chris, you're not having kids.
Chris, let me
Yeah,
tell you
but
what you felt.
I got cousins and shit.
You don't like your cousins that much to give them Louis.
If it's old,
There's a small percentage of you that's still somehow linked to your Neanderthal ancestors. And whenever you buy a fucking Louis bag for $500, and you know in your heart of hearts that you did something really horrible and wrong, the man screams inside you. He yells, and a primal scream erupts, because it's like that's money that you could have spent on food, you could spend on fire, or you could have spent on a weapon. But no, you bought a fucking Louis pouch to put what? Your iPhone and your fucking...
well, it's an LA thing, because I just, in New York, you have a tote bag, you're walking around, it makes sense. LA, I'm going from the car to the house, to car to wherever. So I need something to transport: phone, wallet, cash, multiple keys, AirPods, some stickers.
But you have a good point with the primal connection. But with Chris, instead of being like, oh, I could have used that money for food or shelter or fire or to support my family, he's like, oh, I could have... literally bought a $500 Primal Scream T-shirt off of Instagram.
Yes.
That shit would have been fucking fire.
I was gonna say Primal Scream is one of my favorites. So I shout out to Bobby Gillespie, you king. But instead, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not saying I make the best decisions all the time, but it's something that I can live with this. I'll live with this pouch, and Jason's gonna live with the fact that he's taking apart a camera that he can't put back together, and that's why we podcast.
I love that there's two sides of a spectrum here, and I listen. I'm very guilty of buying unnecessary shit. I mean, do I need this? Do I have to keep buying these fucking things? I can't stop myself. I got to get this. I got to get this puffy Calm wallet.
Classic Calm wallet.
Yeah, but the rest of my life has kind of fallen to dog shit. Like, my girlfriend was like, kind of, she's like, you need to get some new clothes, because I'm like, this whole pandemic, I bought some vintage T-shirts because I needed to shop, but I haven't bought any new clothes. All my pants, everything is so fucked up, because I'm just like, I'm not going nowhere. Nothing's happening.
Right.
What do I need to look good for?
But things are starting to happen now. So I was actually talking about this with my partner today about, like, I need some new going out clothes. I feel like that's a sentence I haven't said in so long, but now that COVID has been cured and it's over, and we're going out to the restaurants and the clubs and everything, we're turning up at Escuela or whatever it may be. I can't wear shorts every day to the club.
It's over, right? It's about to happen. We're out of the woods. Is that what's happening?
It's over.
Here?
It's
over.
Oh yeah, it's over. We'll see.
That's
you at the
right,
club.
Alex.
We'll see you at the club.
Are you guys going to come to Sadie Hawkins?
I've never been invited to that.
I've never. Well,
you're in now. If you want to go.
This feels like an invite. What? So are you? So you have it on the calendar this year?
We're working towards it, and it's it's in Sponto's mind. So if there's any chance of it happening, it's happening.
Are sponsors confirmed, or are you still trying to kind of?
Yeah, we have one sponsor that's confirmed. There are always going to be sponsors for that thing, because it's like, if you haven't been, it's basically Sadie Hawkins is basically like what you imagine New Year's Eve should be. But it's a day after Thanksgiving, so it's like, and you mix that with like a touch of like this prom aesthetic. But it's like it's basically the best party of the year, and everyone when you go there, you'll be like, oh, I know everybody here. It
is an LA social event of the year, and I've never been either, because that's that day, the Friday right after Thanksgiving. I always have it's a huge DJ night, so I always would have to DJ. It's like one of the biggest club nights of the year. But I would love to go. And you were right in describing it's kind of what New Year's Eve should be, but never ends up being.
Have you guys gotten vaxxed? Am I looking at some Pfizer boys, or are you Moderna lads? What's popping?
Neither. I'm a Johnson & Johnson single shot, and Chris is an anti-vaxxer, so he won't be receiving.
That is not true. That's not true. I'm going to get the single. I'm going to get the single shot. I don't.
So
why
it's
do
opened up fully
in
LA, right, or in California?
April 15th. April 15th, it says anybody.
It's on.
Oh, okay.
It's so fucking on.
Over 16. Anyone over 16.
April 15th, anyone over 16?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. I feel like there's so much pressure for people to turn up this summer. Like, they're going to turn up anyways.
I feel it.
But there's also extra pressure to be extra. So it's like, it's like meta. It's like, yeah, we're going to party hard, but we're going to party even harder because we're supposed to party hard. Like, I think people are going to literally be like cutting off limbs, jumping off bridges into.
So there's a compounded exponential party growth, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but the other side of it is that there's a whole swath of people that have never stopped partying, and they're going to pretend that they're coming out the woodwork. When I've seen them, they've been partying the whole time. I follow this A&R, right? She's like a A&R, like a rap A&R, right? I follow her the whole time. I've been watching her. I live vicariously through her stories, and every time I look at her stories every day, and this motherfucker never stopped. Like Airbnb parties in the studio with 18 people jumping on the tables, like there was never even been a blip. And there's just people that are they're like Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now, right? The bombs are going off, never gonna hit them. They just walk through the napalm, not even a germ touches them. Like they're just. And if they do catch it, it just goes through them because they're so fortified with backwoods smoke. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even affect.
That's the true vaccine is a fresh 2-pack of backwoods. I would agree.
You're a big weed guy, huh, Jason?
I wouldn't say I'm a big weed guy, but I partake, most nights. I'm not doing a whole hog leg spleef to the face. I'm not doing a whole backwoods. I'm just a couple little bowls and I'm good to go.
He's a pussy. He's a pussy if that's what
Wait, but you're casually having an edible on a Thursday morning to podcast. That's fucking wild.
Well, it was a small one. It was like 2 milligrams, I think. So it's microdosing.
Do you see what I have to deal with, Alex? This guy's off the rails.
He's off the rails.
I was only doing it for a little body pain, a little physical pain that I was dealing with.
Medicinal.
Alex, do you participate? Do you use CBD for injuries or no?
No, I haven't done that. I try not to fuck around.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I ask. But I feel like that question, that answer is different for everyone.
Because I'm a very much a habitual line stepper, and you just can't like right now in my pantry. There's like all this sugar-free Swedish fish and like sugar-free chocolate, and I know that's just a gateway drug for me to fucking order Jenny's. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, and if I start fucking with CBD, I will eventually fuck around and like find a loophole to get fucking blazed. So. I know myself.
You're gonna be like, oh, mushrooms are not that crazy. Like, and next thing you know, we're back in Haler's car, scraping a light bulb.
I mean, listen, I wish I could. Mushrooms. Let me tell you something. Fucking mushrooms are like, to me, a perfect. I love mushrooms. When I would do shrooms, I would feel like the Superman. I feel like the ultimate version of myself. Mushrooms made me feel like what cocaine is supposed to do, right? Like mushrooms just made me feel like the funniest, like, I mean, that's the one thing I kind of feel like I wish I could do, but I can't because I'll end up like just
simply a gateway.
It's a gateway. Yeah.
Mushrooms are the sugar-free Swedish fish of your life.
Yeah. Mushrooms are the sugar-free Swedish fish in the drug world.
But Alex, what a pleasure, man. This is so overdue. And unfortunately, not fortunately for us, we podcast for an hour like normal people, not like you freaks that do like two or 3.
We're all washed. The world is in control of a 17-year-old tastemaker. Just deal with it.
Sooner you bend over and let those 17-year-olds fill you up with their TikTok juice.
Yep.
And their cryptocurrency nut.
Alex, where can they find you on the World Wide Web? Tell them.
I'm on Instagram. I'm at What You Steal, WhatYouSteal. I'm part of the Powerful Truth Angels podcast network. We're ultra violent and huge and brilliant, fucking genius podcasters. One of the best podcasts in the world, if you ask anybody. Podcaster Weekly just voted us most likely to take over the entire game. And those are my deets. Yeah, well, you guys are in the family, so let's go. Let's take it all.
Hell yeah! All right, last question, Alex. As the podcast is fading out, what song would you like us to blow you up with, Tom? Something from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, perhaps?
Yeah. Just drop Californication.
Done. But I had a feeling that was the selection we're gonna want.
Yeah, just play Californication.
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation. And little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood